I'm talking to Haley.
Oh, she's ready. Yeah, she has her sheet.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead and do your roll call and get everybody's names.
Okay, I got everyone's name here already, so I think I'm good.
Okay, we're gonna start off the meeting. First order of business with my resignation being today is to vote on our next park board president. I make a motion that be Lindsay.
And I second that.
Okay.
All right.
All in favor? Aye.
Thanks.
All right. Lindsay, you are now officially the park board president. It is your show from here.
Thanks. Are you staying on the line?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. From there, okay, we could do town comment. Do you guys have any comments since you're here?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, actually, my name is Monica Hill.
Mm-hmm.
This is my son's fiance, Emma Hill. And we have a couple concerns we need to discuss.
Okay.
If that's okay at this time?
Yep.
Okay, so there was some accusations tossed around. And
By whom?
on April 30th
Okay.
this year, Eli Lilly came in to volunteer their time, at which time, after their volunteering was done for the parks and the trails, so Robbie had them help remove her belongings from 117 West Franklin Street to the park garage
Okay.
here in Thorntown. When Emma and I realized this, we didn't want to be held responsible for any of her belongings being stolen or missing. And we noticed our hours going down since we couldn't get in the garage to get the tools needed to do the jobs. So
You have keys to the garage?
I did.
Okay.
I then went to Gary Kaufman and I spoke with him. He is a town councilman on the town board. And he referred me to talk to Grumpy Dave. And so Emma and I went and talked to Grumpy and let him know why we were turning our keys in.
What date did you talk to Grumpy?
Yes, ma'am.
What date?
I'll tell you in a moment, please.
Okay.
I will get that. I'll get that for you. So I was told, no, that's wrong. When they asked her about living in the garage with her belongings and the dog, she told them no. I have all proof right here you need. And this is for each of you. I blacked out a couple pages that did not pertain to work, and I highlighted everything you need to know. Those are from Sir Robbie herself. And then on the July 20th, Sir Robbie asked me to bring my keys in, and I informed her that I had given them to Grumpy.
Okay.
And that day, she called Gary Kaufman and told Gary Kaufman I had been fired for drinking on the job 2 weeks prior
Okay.
to June 20th.
You were never fired. That is our understanding.
Was it
You were
discussed
stuck-
about me caught drinking on the job?
No.
So that was false information she gave the councilman?
It was never public record that that's what she stated. What our understanding is, we have that you stepped down, and that's why we asked for your keys to come back.
No.
So
I did exactly what the town councilman did. They told me to take personal time, to tell her personally that I needed personal time. And my personal time consisted of surrounding her dog and her stuff being
Yeah.
in
we'll
the
give you guys
barn,
these.
or the garage at the time is what she calls it.
Okay.
And that's the reason I would not go in there and could not do my job due to the fact I could not get to the tools we needed to do our job. She also told me I could not work the circus because it was a,
That was a volunteer event, so that we were all made clear that was volunteer
but she
only.
said we couldn't do events. But
You guys were
prior to
asking
this-
to get paid for that event, and that's what we wanted to make sure that it was clear. It was volunteer only for
She
that.
could clear that up, that was fine. But prior to that, she asked me to work farmer's market in Illinois.
Okay.
And also for the movie theme park, which
Okay.
is both events. And So just so you all know,
Okay.
I couldn't have possibly been caught drinking on the job
Mhm.
2 weeks prior to June 20th, because May 17th was my last day we worked, and the 27th, we turned our keys over to Grumpy.
27th. Okay.
She retaliated on me, which is unfair. There are laws in Indiana against people who retaliate
Okay.
on whistleblowers, which is what I did, because it is unlawful for her to be in there with her belongings and her dog.
Okay. And she's out now, just so you know.
That's fine.
Okay.
So we want to know, can we have her job back?
So
So
we went through and we hired somebody else once you guys stepped down. There are two people, Veronica and her son. They have been hired now to take care of that job.
But they,
That's fine, but we did not step down. We
But
did
that's what we
the-
have on record is that you stepped down,
Who put that on your record?
Sarabi.
okay, so that was a lie.
But that's still what happened.
No,
So-
ma'am, it was not.
We did not fire you.
The
You turned in your
councilman told me-
keys. You turned in your keys and that was it.
No,
We have
I did
new
not
people
turn
in
my
that
keys
job.
in. Sarah picked them up from Grumpy 2 weeks ago.
But you don't have the keys.
I was told to give my keys to a town councilman by Grumpy.
Okay. So,
He told me I could have my job back.
but he is not in charge of park board. So he can't hire for park board. That's
Okay.
why we hired somebody new. We took a vote on that. We hired somebody new for that job.
Hold on, let me see. She did exactly what the board members told her to do,
Council.
the council,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys fired her.
We did
No, they
not
didn't
fire her.
They didn't fire me. They said so Robbie said I stepped down.
Well, she,
I did not.
so she lied to you guys.
Yes.
She did not lie to us because we were made aware of the fact that
How was you
we
made
were
aware?
told that you
was
guys were not
told
putting
by-
in your hours. That is what we were told. We saw the timesheets. You guys were not putting in your hours. That's what we knew. We had
Do you
two
know
other
why at
people.
the time?
Did we know why at the time?
Yes,
We did
ma'am.
not know that you guys were comfortable with her living in the garage. No, we
Would
didn't
you
know
be
that.
comfortable being responsible for somebody else's belongings?
I don't. That is outside of what I understand.
I
So
understand that, but, so in other words, she lied to you guys
there
to
were
get somebody else in.
no, not to get somebody else in. Veronica's a very nice woman. She said she could step up with her son, and so we hired them for
Okay,
the
well,
job.
I get that. That's not
Yeah.
my issue. My issue is I did not step down.
Okay. But we're not
I
gonna
took
get rid of,
personal time
okay.
off due to Sir Robbie's belongings being in the garage.
okay.
And every councilman told me they would have done the same thing.
Mhm.
And they told me I could have my job back when she is removed.
But they can't make decisions for the park board. So that's where we're at an impasse because we have hired somebody else for the job.
And they may have lied to you. They never
The park board never,
they
the
never told us.
town
that
council
at
never
all.
talked to us about the fact that you talked to them and that you wanted your job back. They never talked to us about that.
Okay,
So that is a misunderstanding that has happened between all three of us because
of
Now-
something Sir Robbie said?
I guess so, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So, I mean, yeah, she stepped down now. I'm sorry that it was a difficult May for
Understood.
you. So, but we're not gonna fire Veronica and her son
No,
to hire you guys back.
understood. Are you aware that there are laws in Indiana protecting whistleblowers?
I get,
You
Yeah.
cannot retaliate, you cannot,
yeah,
Yeah, they are.
you cannot retaliate. And this is considered, defamation.
okay.
It is a crime in Indiana. And here's your proof that she told Gary that. And here's your proof and everything you need to know about what I could possibly file charges for.
Okay.
It could be a civil suit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that that happened. So I
So
don't,
in other words, she came in and basically got rid of these two to get somebody else in.
it's not like she was
But-
playing
but that's what- No, that's
favoritism.
what happened.
She wasn't playing favoritism because that's what it sounds like.
No,
No.
she was retaliating on her
Yes.
because
The day I,
of stuff that she knew, the stuff that she did.
I wouldn't say it was retaliatory. No,
Well-
she just had to find somebody to get the weeds pulled and stuff like that because
Okay,
they
well,
had a
you're saying
machine
it
that
was
was
not-
not weed.
You're saying it was not retaliation, then how's come she called Gary Kaufman the day that she asked for my, and if you look at the back page, you can see that I told her I was not going to be responsible and I did not appreciate the position she put me and other key holders in,
Okay.
including Ben Truitt and Grumpy.
Okay. I'll have to read through the text messages to get a better understanding of what the timeline is.
I was wrongfully let go and so was Emma. I was also lied on.
And please call them. Okay, hold on. It's town phone.
I'm not sure.
Corinne, let me go get Corinne.
Okay.
Get all foxes in our names.
I have Derek. Is Derek your first name? Oh, what's your last name?
Babcock.
Babcock. Okay.
We didn't come up there to stir nothing up. We just came up there because.
I want my name cleared and Emma wants her
Because
name cleared.
Robbie came in and she basically got rid of these two and got somebody else in there. And if we gotta do other things to.
So Sarabi is going to call back on the phone. We are going to let you guys talk to her first.
Mhm.
She can talk to you back. And then if things need to be discussed outside of the meeting, then you guys can discuss it between the two of you
I
outside
came
the
to speak
meeting.
with you, the
Yes.
board member. She's no longer a board member. I have nothing to say to her.
Okay, then I'm still going to have her on the call because this is my first meeting.
Understood? That's fine, honey. Do what you
But-
need to do.
Yes, if this is something that you need to discuss with her outside, that is, the decision on the park board is final. We're not going to give you the job back because it already is filled for Veronica and Elijah, her son. Yeah. So, is there anything else you would like to add?
That's all we need, that's all we need to know.
Yeah, she's,
So,
she's off the
we'll
board
just-
now, if that's what you feel comfortable with, but,
We'll just, take other actions and so.
all right.
That's fine.
Did you have everything you need?
Mhm.
All right. You're welcome to stay until the end of our meeting. Oops, not that phone call.
I gave you that for all of her. You guys made. For her,
I don't need any, it's all civil, so.
for her living in the barn.
It's not good.
She likes it, it's all.
The speakerphone? I haven't used the phone like this.
I know.
All right, is this working, Sarabi?
Yeah, is it on speaker?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, as far as
I'm gonna stay in here, what she has to say.
what I was able to catch,
Mhm.
I would like to just read this to you guys. I don't know what all was provided to you guys,
We have-
honestly.
We have screenshots of text messages.
Okay. So there was a text exchange with Monica where it was stated, hold on, I'm scrolling up. Tuesday, June 3rd, seen the park board meeting. This is from Monica. Seen the park board meeting. Yes, Em and I will collect the tickets for the show and be there Thursday morning to help the circus set up.
Mhm.
Wednesday, June 4th, I said, okay, sounds good. I'll have you there for 5 p.m. for the 5 p.m. and 7:30 showing to take tickets along with Emma. I just want to double check in case I need to find somebody else. Monica stated, yeah, we will do it. We are going in the morning to help them set up around 9 a.m. too. Can we put our hours down for helping? And I said, I have to double check with Kareen and the park board on that one. I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. I'm driving right now, but I'll text them and ask.
Mhm.
At which time I texted the park board chat and Kareen.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then she texted me, okay, I just figured it was the parks thing so we could make some hours. Also, can you ask Corrine when our check will be available, please? We only had 4 hours to turn in on the 1st, so I could really use some hours on the next check. Thanks. Was just looking at the sign. It is sponsored by the Parks Department, so I can put hours down with no need to ask, but thanks. Again, I was driving. I didn't respond. Later, Wednesday, so that was June 4th at 8:30 in the morning were those exchanges. At 10:20, we had all discussed things, and I said, after discussing it with Corrine and the park board, we are not comfortable with that since your contracts don't state events. Veronica, Bell, and Elijah have volunteered their time to take tickets during the shows tomorrow. While we appreciate yours and Emma's willingness to help, we have to look at semantics like liability and contracted agreements. I would suggest attending only for the tent raising and tour if you want to go in the morning, as they have a full team that is trained and dedicated to set up and take down that is fully insured and part of our contractual agreement with them. If you need more hours after the last pay period and have enough trail and garden bed and park work, you can do 10 hours each week for this pay cycle, only to make up the hours. Parentheses, 1st through 15 to 10 hours a week each. Moving forward, though, any makeup time will need to be pre-approved by the board, so if you plan time off, you'll need to shoot one of us a text with that info. Then Thursday, June 5th, Monica texted me and said, due to personal reasons, Emma and I are taking some time off until further notice. Thanks. Thursday, June 5th was when Veronica and Elijah were hired.
Okay.
And then the text exchange goes on to Friday, June 6th, where I say, okay, thank you for letting me know. For the time being, we will have someone else helping out then. Could you swing by Town Hall sometime between today and Tuesday to drop off your keys in the mail slot for Green, please? Just keep me updated on if you intend to return or circumstances change. Hope all is well. And then I accidentally sent her a text that was meant for Veronica, saying Corrine said Elijah would be okay to work with her because we needed to double check age requirements. And then Friday, June 20th, I reached out to Monica and said, Monica, I need you to drop off your keys at Town Hall today, please.
Okay.
Friday, June 20th, Monica stated, you need to get in touch with Dave. Dave has had my keys since you moved your personal stuff and yourself and your dog into the park barn. I do not like the positions that you put me in, nor do the other key holders. We do not want to be responsible for anything appears missing or broken in there, nor will I be there. For I gave my keys to Dave weeks ago. I can't live off a 4-hour paycheck due to not being able to get into the park's barn to get the tools needed to do my job. And then Thursday she texted me, but I'd like to just go to that text really quick. I had no idea at this point, June 20th, which was after June 5th, when Veronica and Elijah were brought on, that Monica had spoken to Grumpy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea until Monica told me Friday, June 20th. Because at that point, since May 11th, I was residing in Darlington.
May 11th, okay.
Therefore, none of this was in retaliation. I want to clarify. This was concern about ensuring that the garden beds were getting done because there were weeds that were growing up that needed to be done.
Okay.
So in all them statements, she never did let Monica go. She never did let Monica go.
Well, that last, we never fired you guys. That last statement that she said in the text was,
Yes.
which I don't have in here, is that you guys were taking personal time off,
That's
and then there was no return date that you issued. So that was why we were concerned that there was going to be nobody coming back to the job, and we have someone else to take care of it.
But it was not clear.
There were also concerns about
Yeah,
the hours
that's
that were being
unfortunate.
put
None of
in.
this was clarified.
We
None of
had
it was
agreed-
probably
We
done
had
in
agreed
person.
to give Monica and Emma 10 hours a week
Yeah.
for their requests for more hours. And I think all but 1 or 2 pay periods this season, which I would have to go back and have Green pull up the pay, or I guess you would, Lindsay, to pull up the pay history. All but 1 or 2 of those pay periods, they did not complete 10 hours a week
Yeah.
each. It was less than that.
So So that was what we had discussed also in meetings before, is that
Yes, and
the
that was
10 hours-
because of living in the barn and we couldn't get to our tools to do our job.
she stated that she was out on May 11th. All of this took place in the beginning of June.
But, sorry, but technically, she had to clarify that she was let go,
That
And she
you,
never did.
and she never did.
it was also
I
on you the
did,
issue. of
okay,
the-
let me
return
continue with these text exchanges that were sent
Well,
then.
What day was I terminated?
Thursday,
That would have been the day that you said you were taking time off.
You were never
Which-
terminated.
You were never terminated. You said, which is not on here, the date, Sarabi said, what was that, the 6th, the 5th,
June 5th,
that you needed
June
to
5th,
take
she
time
said,
off?
due to personal reasons, Emma and I are taking some time off until further notice, thanks. And I stated, okay, thank you for letting me know. For the time being, we will have someone else helping out then. Could you swing by town hall sometime between today and Tuesday to drop off your keys in the mail slot, please? Just keep me updated on if you intend to return or circumstances change.
Yeah, so that is the
All is
important
well.
piece of information. That is what we were given. That is why we moved ahead and hired somebody else the next day to take care of the weeds.
Plus, she
Same day.
But she
It was
stated
later
she
that
was
day.
hiring somebody in.
Veronica and Elijah were hired later that day.
Yeah, but again, you guys never got back to us. You stated that one day that you were gonna go off until further notice,
But she
And-
did get back.
That's exactly what.
And we are now in
but again, they're not
July
your bosses.
7th, and just now finding out that you want your positions back. It's been over a month at this point, with no date or vocalization of intent to return, no communication whatsoever. It's been a bunch of backdoor meetings instead of trying to address this the right way.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
Now, then what
So-
day, was I caught drinking on the job, according to Sarabi?
Now, that is a personal
Did you
issue.
ask her?
We do not have that
No,
information.
because she told town council that's why I was fired.
She never said that that's why you were fired. She just said why you were
she
fired.
did.
Yeah, she did. It's
So
on-
I just-
No, I did
Provide
not.
proof.
I said that was a concern
That
and that was
yeah,
a
this isn't-
conversation that was going to have to be had at some point.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
She said it was just a concern that she had and that it was going to eventually be discussed had you stayed on the job.
Oh, that, of me drinking on a job?
She would have talked to you about it. Yes, that's what she just said.
So she lied to the town council.
She did not talk to
No.
town council about
Yes, she
that.
did. She talked to Gary Kaufman. He
It's
is
right
town
there on the
councilman.
text.
I have proof in front of you.
Yeah, all she said was she was drinking on the job as a reason.
And I want to know
But-
what day I was caught, who I was caught by.
And that's fair. That's allegations you can talk to Sarabi about. You have
Well, so Robbie, can you
Email.
explain that, please?
outside of park board meeting, there is a personal email you can address her to. There are other issues we have to get going to.
That's fine. We'll contact legal people then. We'll,
Okay.
we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Y'all have a
All
great
right,
day.
Yep.
yep.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
I'll call a lawyer.
All she has here, Sarabi, she has one screenshot that Gary sent to her that said, all she said was the drinking on the job as a reason. She gave no dismissal date. So Gary, she's going off of what Gary texted her that you supposedly said.
Okay, well,
There is no evidence that we dismissed her for drinking. You did
we
mention,
didn't. We didn't, and the only instance in which I had concerns was we were at the trailhead the day of the Eli Lilly Park cleanup,
Mhm.
when Eli Lilly sent out the operators. And she had expressed that her and Emma had thought about or had, I do not know which, bringing alcohol with them when they were gardening and having a couple of drinks.
oh, so they told that to you directly?
Yes,
Oh, no. All right, well,
yes, and that was on the day of the Eli Lilly event. However, there were no other witnesses to that conversation,
Yeah.
and as such, I didn't think it required anything other than a conversation and a, hey, if we do catch this, it will be a problem.
yeah.
But
That's-
otherwise, I didn't see it as a cause to immediately be like, which is why, because again, the Eli Lilly cleanup day was what,
April 30th. Yeah.
BCIC, was it April? Yeah, April 30th. That was April 30th. Now keep in mind, all of this took place in June.
Yeah.
So at this point, to me, it was nothing more than a, hey, we were going to give them, which we had already discussed this, we were going to give them a grace period until July anyway to see if their hours bounced back up, because we knew Monica was going through some family-related illnesses that were causing her to have to take time off. And as such, I was waiting, because if her hours jumped back up and it didn't end up being an issue again, there was no cause for concern about whether or not the parks or gardens were being upkept or it even needed to be a conversation.
That is why we
I
talked
didn't want
about
to jump into a conversation prematurely that was unnecessary.
Yeah. So I don't know. So she's basing all of this based off of talking that you talked to Gary and he texted her that, oh, Sarabi let you go because you were drinking on the job. So unfortunately, they think that that's why you let them go.
And then also unverifiable, but Monica claims that the town council told her she could have her job back.
Yeah, and I clarified what this was off the phone, that I told her that they aren't getting their job back and that town council can't hire for the park board and that we have already hired people to fill it, so you can't have the job back. So they seem to want to pick the issue with you personally.
I mean, I'm sure that's not an inaccurate statement, but I guess all I have for you guys, because you need to know where we're at, and this is also in the email that was drafted with my resignation. But so as of right now, the men's bathroom sink that's being replaced is that faucet itself needs to be replaced, and that part is on back order.
Okay.
So we are waiting on Christian's supplier. Christian owns Central Indiana Plumbing and Well Services.
Okay.
And all of his contact information is going to be in that contact sheet for you as well, Lindsay.
Okay.
And as soon as his supplier is able to get access to that item, he will be able to get that out there and fix it.
Okay.
The next issue being the drinking fountain.
Yeah.
As of right now, the drinking fountain itself needs to be replaced. It was spitballed because of the cost that maybe we should consider, you guys should consider the Boone County Waste Management grant that we get every year.
Okay.
That grant can be used for certain things, and you'll have the contact on there as well. I believe her name is Jennifer. And they did, the last year there who we went through to get the baby changing stations for the bathrooms.
Okay.
And the new trash cans. And they continued to work with us year after year to help with like park benches and bike racks. There's certain parameters and requirements about that, and you can ask her directly via email. But I think if we were to do like a water bottle refill station, water fountain, that would be covered under that.
Yeah, that's what I
So
would think.
that might be something to consider for funding for that. But as of right now, getting our hands on the actuator for that, because it's an old penitentiary water fountain that is no longer, like, it's discontinued and the parks are obsolete and difficult to find.
Yeah.
The suggestion from Christian was that we replace the water fountain altogether.
Yeah, and he could do that?
He could, yes.
Okay. All right.
We just need to secure the funding, or you guys just need to secure the funding for it, which,
yeah.
like I said, I think that maybe contacting Boone County Waste Management would be worthwhile in that.
Yep.
It won't be till the end-ish of the season, if I remember correctly, Haley.
Mm-hmm.
We finalized everything with that in September timeframe, because it was when I came back from Alaska. October, September timeframe. So you would want to reach out to her. As soon as I send you her information, I would suggest reaching out to her now. And if you guys can find something that meets the parameters of their requirements, then you can submit it to her, and that way they have it ahead of time, and it's a little bit easier transitioning from that.
Okay.
So that's the big one that I have.
And then just organizing Lily Day of Service.
Lily Day of Service, yes. I did CC, I believe I tagged you guys in the most recent email, or CC'd you guys in there. So for the Lily Day of Service, here, let's see.
September 25th.
September 25th, and it's my understanding Eli Lilly will be sending out approximately 100 volunteers for 3 hours, 9 to noon. And that those volunteers are going to be split up between different organizations within Thorntown. And then BCIC also has it on their calendar and will help arrange any extra volunteers with that.
Okay.
And it's my understanding BCIC also has some, most of the stuff needed to tackle those sections of the trail. That being said, an issue has been presented multiple times throughout the community about the trail being overgrown and specifying like which sections are Thorntown's and which sections are not our responsibility.
Okay.
So basically, the second bridge on the North Trailhead, or Sugar Creek Bridge, to Downplant Road Bridge, which is the very first bridge that you hit when you're going down the South Trail, are all Thorntown's responsibility. As of right now, there is brush overgrowth. There have been some people from the community that have been posting on Facebook and that have reached out, and I'll get you their contact information as well, that are interested in volunteering their time, but we need to set up a day relatively soon that, one or both of you or whoever can go out there and meet with the volunteers, grab some pruning shears, and just try to cut back what we can, because right now it is growing onto the trail.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
I have a question with, is it possible that we could hire, so someone needs to be hired for mowing, obviously, right?
No.
No?
It is my understanding right now, Dalton Humphreys with Thorntown Utilities, and he's up on the APC board, has been doing the mowing.
Okay.
And I think at this point it's just so densely overgrown on the trail, I don't even know that we'd be able to get the mower down.
My question
It
is,
might be,
could we, as park board, hire somebody for, like, have a separate person in charge of trail maintenance and have a separate person in charge of park maintenance, including mowing
unfortunately,
and
not
painting?
without town council approval, 1, and 2, we do not have the budget for that. That was part of the issue we ran into when we initially were seeking funding for Monica and Emma's hours to up them, was that we didn't have the funding to give them those hours to help maintain the trails like we had initially discussed at the beginning of the season. So my recommendation would be to put out, to basically set a date that works for one or both of you. And you could put out a notice on social media, post them in the windows,
Organize a trail.
for a trail cleanup day and brush removal. And then it would be my recommendation to also talk to Earl with utilities and see if maybe he has anything that can help cut back some of those dense brush areas. And that way you guys can get some volunteers together for that.
Okay. But that would be something before Lily Day of Service to do?
Absolutely. Within the next week and a half max. It's bad. And I tried to set up a date sooner, but we had all of that rain, and I was trying to juggle getting everything together for you guys in the handoff, and also I was in the middle of moving out of town, and it was just too much for me to handle, which, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I'm one person.
Yeah. Okay. We'll work on that. Anything else?
Trying to think, because it deleted my email.
You said we have 10,000 in the budget. Does that need to be used up by the end of the year? Or does it roll over?
We have 10,000 in the budget. We get, I want to say it's 10 or 12. I think it went up to 12 this year. We get a set amount each calendar year
Yeah.
to maintain and upkeep the parks. I think as of right now, and that budget sheet is in Corinne's office, and I know there are certain things that are not reflected on there yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to, when I drop off my keys tomorrow, I'll go through and make notes on that sheet for you guys with specific amounts and the receipts that were turned into Crane. Because unfortunately the way that billing goes, it's not always, that's part of why, hold on, how do I phrase this? So when I usually go over the budget with you guys, you'll notice I usually write off to the side or underneath the budget other things that need to be accounted for. It's because not everything is updated like real time. We're very behind in how we do a lot of our accounting in Thorntown, and that's by no fault of Corinne by any means. It's just unfortunately the way that the system works and what's going on. So I know that the mulch from Menards has not been posted yet, that Veronica needed for the garden bed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it for income and outcome for credit and debit for the actual park maintenance budget. The park donation fund, the things that haven't posted are, we just paid the Bodacious Band today for the July 4th event, and then the cost of supplies for the hot dog, pony dog dinners, and materials, which all of the extra materials are in the garage and can be reused next year. There's some like red and blue tablecloths, and there's some American like themed balloons. There's extra helium tanks in there for you guys. All of the like farm balloons from the farmers market are refillable, so they can be used again and again and again.
Okay.
There's paper plates, there's plasticware, things of that nature. So that's kind of where that's at. But all of that is in the garage. And Veronica has been helping with a lot of that.
Yeah.
So Veronica definitely I would say, if you have certain questions or I'm unreachable, Veronica might be a great place to start. And then the other recommendation I would have, so if one or both of you is available tomorrow when I drop off my keys in the evening, because I won't, I have work, so. But if one or both of you is available, I can show you guys how, like, the sound system and the projector are all
Okay.
in Corinne's closet there in Town Hall, and I can show you guys how all of that hooks up. Excuse me. And the biggest thing will be, so Veronica's seen it a few times, but I just want to make sure you guys know. And then the movies get shipped to Town Hall ahead of movie showings each month, and they come in a box with a return label, and then they just get sent back after the movie showing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and I will still be reachable if you guys have questions or I missed something. By all means, please get a hold of me. But that's kind of, I think, the biggest stuff is that water fountain. Oh, there is one other thing. Okay, there is a metal pipe, I don't know if that's the right word, that is exposed right in front of the rock climbing wall at the park. It's something that I tried to pull it out myself, but it's in the ground, and I don't know the best course of action in dealing with it. I would think that maybe Earl would have a good suggestion for that or recommendation, but it is a safety hazard, and it does need to be addressed. I don't know what to do about it. Originally, I was like, okay, well, what if we pour concrete over that? But then the issue of, okay, a kid falls off of that rock wall, they're hitting concrete. We rebury it with more gravel, which, I mean, the gravel does need to be touched up in the park, but again, the issue still arises. That pipe is still there. The gravel can shift. Still a safety issue.
Yeah, it
So
probably just needs to be cut down with an angle
how we would
grinder.
even go about trying to get it out of the ground, or what it could be connected to, or if it's connected to anything. But I feel like that's an Earl question.
Okay.
I don't know of any utilities that run through there, but I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
So Abby, have you talked to Bailey Runyon or Summer Smith?
Yes, neither are interested
Okay.
in joining the park board, and I do think I briefly talked to you about this, Lindsay. I think the next best course of action, if you guys, want to kind of try to focus on getting some other people on the board, might be to put out a notice that you guys are looking for people that are interested in joining the park board.
Okay.
And like what skill sets you guys might feel that you need, like social media experience or maintenance or gardening experience, things of that nature. Kind of like what you guys would expect or need from that person. I just know, like, I did a lot of stuff in my free time that kind of fell under those two parameters, and they're very specific. But at the end of the day, only you guys can decide what's best or what you need from community members that would best serve the current team of who's serving on the park board side.
Okay. So my husband offered to be on the board, but I assume that he can't because we're married, right? Like I don't.
Correct. The only reason Tyler was allowed to be on the board when I was on the board was because we were dating. We were not legally married.
All right. I don't have anything else right now, Sir Abby.
Okay.
Tonight, you're going to be at the town council too? Or should I just go?
Probably not.
I should probably just go by myself and just update that I'm now park board president.
Yeah. And then,
It's just across.
like I said, I'll send in that email with my resignation. I don't know. Do you have a printer, Lindsay?
No,
I
but
do.
the library does.
Yeah, I do too. You know what?
Okay.
Send it to me. I'll print it
know
off and bring it.
sometimes town council does not always check their emails. They
Yeah.
are also busy and have lives. So if we can print off a copy of my resignation as well, just that way they have a physical copy in case they haven't checked their email or something happened and they didn't receive it, that would be really great.
Would I just say during public comment, or are they going to actually go for are they going to list all the park or the boards and ask for comment?
If you go in a couple minutes early, which is usually what I do, like before they start the meeting at 7, and just say, hey, we do have an update for you guys.
Okay.
And then they'll call on you during the park board update
Okay. I'll do
section
that.
on the list.
All right. Sounds good.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
As of right now, like I said, if you think of anything, you can also contact me.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hi.
I'm not like
All right. Thank you,
from
Sarabi.
the area. I'm just gone from Thorntown.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Bye, Sarabi.
All right. Bye.
That's it. Call the meeting to an end.
I've got something for you guys.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were just sitting there for us.
Well, I was, but
Which I appreciate.
now that I know the park board is continuing, because there was a rumor, I guess you guys were all gonna quit, whatever.
Well,
Um,
we're gonna try our best for a couple months.
You guys will do it. You guys will be fine. August 16th is the fire department fish fry.
Okay.
We're wanting to expand it to be more of a community-based event versus just fire department.
Yeah.
Because we've established it, right? So, I'm on the fire department too, just different hat. So we wanted to get with the farmer's market, see if
Okay.
the vendors there would be willing to, or interested in setting up.
So that's
Um,
August 16th.
It's a Saturday.
Okay, and then, so the week before is our farmer's market. I don't, with their contracts, it says it's just, that's just it, is the 2 week, the Friday, Saturday, second weekend of the month. However, if you want their information, so you can contact them, hey, do you want to come back out and set up? You can do that, if that's what you're interested in, or are you more interested in just having the park board
Yeah.
run a
saying,
second one?
hey, park board, we are doing this. Feel free to set up your farmer's market to keep your clients like
Yeah,
happier with the.
okay, I'd have,
We get 1,200 people.
yeah, you guys get a
there.
lot. I always love
So-
the fish fry.
We want something for people to do besides just sit there and eat fish.
Yeah,
Like,
and you would, so it would just, your idea is that it would still be set up in the park and people
No.
could walk over there, or it'd be
Nope.
set up at the fire station?
at the fire
Okay.
station right up front where everybody's waiting in line to get in.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's got the building and the apron kind of stuff
Yeah.
like that grassy area, and there's a couple trees. We would mark that entire area off for however you guys wanted to set it up.
Okay.
And
Let me
so it'd be,
think about that. Yeah, because the only thing would be having to change their contracts, because their contracts already, they signed them in like April, May, saying that it's the second weekend of the month. So they know it's going to be the 8th and 9th of August.
so you couldn't force them to do,
No,
to do it, right?
no.
So
I would have
but
to
you
send
could
out
say,
and reach out to them and be like, are you okay if we changed it to the third weekend? In which case, some would say, like, if there was a
what about
conflict.
just adding this? Just saying, hey, this is, if you guys want to put your booth here, you wouldn't have to adjust your contract because it's a separate thing from the. park,
Yeah, well, that would be more of them.
but
they would-
voluntarily doing it.
Well, they still need, I think, at least at the park, we had to have, like, they have to get insurance for it and stuff
We
like
got
that.
insurance for
So
that.
would that be covered for it?
It should be, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I think it would instead be, instead of like like part of the park board contract, I could reach out to them saying that we have this additional event the next weekend. If they want to come back out, they would probably make more money if they went to the fish fry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to see and talk to Corinne about if I can change their contract and say, this is a better money-making opportunity for you if you would rather come the third weekend. Yeah, because I know we don't have a lot of vendors. It was our first year doing it.
Yeah, I'd like to see
I don't,
it get a lot busier.
yeah, next year should hopefully be a bit better with it, but what do you think about that, Haley? Should we endeavor to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good idea.
The only thing is that the movies at the park are linked with the Saturday one.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I could have bet at 10 o'clock and starting movies at 9:30 or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot of things have already been set in motion.
Yeah,
So,
it was kind of a late idea that we had
Yes.
at our last meeting, and it would be
because that's the last one, right? Is the one in August?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you definitely before August. Give me a week to think about it and reach out to I don't even know who all of our vendors are. So I gotta find that out, who exactly our vendors are. And then see if they're more open to that. Because I'm sure as a business, they probably would be more open to having more people in front of them
Yeah.
than the weekend before where it's just at the park. But,
Yeah.
okay, I'll think about it. Not a bad idea.
Cool.
Thank you for letting me know.
Thank you. Thanks for sitting in also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I wish
Oh, I-
Sarabi would have told us about that it was Emma and Monica just in a conversation talking about, because I could have defended her better. And now she's gonna potentially be contacted.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, all right. Well, now, can we call our meeting to?
Yeah.
settle?
Yeah.
I want to go home. 4:24, calling our meeting to a close. I don't even know what the right way to say it is.
I have our